So as I was saying in the other video, I kind of got on a tangent about all the qualifying stuff I've been doing. So I've been gone for a couple of weeks. And like I said, I got my armed security license because we are, we teach people how to shoot. We teach pistols. And my ultimate goal is to just have this big thing. Well, not a big thing. I don't want a big business because with big business comes big pains in the ass. But my wife has her own CPR business. And I want to tie that into my shooting business, right? We teach people gun safety, how to shoot, defensive shooting, all that good stuff. But I also want to teach, go to churches and schools are pretty much taken care of, and do active shooter teaching, what happens when somebody comes in. Because, a lot of times when you go to churches, well, we tell Bob. If somebody comes in we don't recognize or it looks dangerous, we tell Bob, okay, Bob, what are you going to do? Besides get beat up or get shot, you're going to do nothing. That's what you're going to do. And then the people that this happens to, they sit around and they wonder, well, hell, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Well, because you weren't prepared. That's why it happened. A lot of crazies out there. So, and part of that is I also want to get my security guard instructor's license. So I went through all the training and all that stuff for armed security. But you have to work for a year before you can do it. That's just how it works. And I understand that. You don't want somebody out there just teaching you, well, this is how you do it, and they've never done it in their life. I mean, that's insane. So, and most instructors are like ex-cops and shit like that. So I want to get my instructor's license so I can tie what my wife does into what I do. And we just kind of make this whole thing, not only can we teach you how to be safe with a gun, we can teach you active shooter, we can teach you to do, what if something happens, but then my wife can also teach you CPR, how to handle the bleeds, first aid, all that stuff, just in case something does happen. We can incorporate it all. And I don't want to keep it very small. Me, my wife, and maybe two other people, to be honest with you. I don't want some big-ass pain in our butt that we got to deal with every single day. And then, of course, the government's breathing down our back constantly for money and taxes and everything else. God forbid you try to build something for you and your family that you all can live off of without having to deal with the government. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. But during this, I got to tell you, man, looking for a job is... oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. It sucks. It beyond sucks. And this is why Americans hate looking for jobs, okay? When I got out of school, all right? When I got out of school, I went to Park West Hospital. They hired me before I even got out of school in urology surgery. That's what I did. Worked there for several years, all right? And then went off, did some other things, and then, long story short, went back to a hospital. And I went to another hospital here, went over to UT, and for a second shift, right? And stay with me because I'm going to talk about the differences here. So I walked into UT, and I said, hey, I'm going to look for a job, and they're like, hey, okay, fill out this application. So filled it out, I give it to them, and they're like, well, let's just go ahead and interview. So they interview me. They get the director of radiology down. They come down, blah, 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 blah. I say, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, fantastic. When can you start? I said, well, hell, I can start tomorrow. They're like, all right, cool. We got to put you on. We put everybody on day shift for 6 weeks because day shift at the big hospitals like that, the big teaching hospitals is insanely busy. Trauma 3 center, the whole 9 yards. And then we put you on shift. Cool. So I did 6 weeks at UT on day shift. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. And, because all the things that they do on day shift, they don't do on night shift. And I'm kind of a surgery ER guy. So 6 weeks come and goes, and I'm like, hey, you're going to switch me to my second shift. And they're like, well, we just, we need you for a couple more weeks. Fine. So, a couple more weeks goes by. Hey, you're going to switch. Yeah, we'll get there. Just give us time. 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, 16 weeks goes by. And finally, I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm out. I took this job to work second shift. You've got me on day shift. I don't want to work day shifts here. So I'm leaving. So the doctor comes down. He's like, man, I really wish you would, reconsider. You're a good tech. Da, da, da. And I was like, I want to work second shift. And he's like, but we need you on first. I said, then I'm sorry, hire somebody else. So I literally quit that job because I'm a firm believer. I do what I say. I expect you to do what you say also. So I quit that job and I went over to Children's. Walked over there like on a Thursday. Okay. Started a new job on Monday. Went in, filled out the application, interviewed, hired. All right. Did that job. And the lady who ran it, she said, hey, our overnight tech left. Do you mind working overnights for 4 weeks before we move you over to second shift? I said, no, it's not a problem. It's not my bag, but it's not a problem. So I did, and I worked overnights. It was a horrible, horrible shift in a hospital, was the overnights. And, 4 weeks came and went. So I went and talked to her. I said, hey, second shift. Well, we're just having a hard time filling that position. Can you do it for a little while longer? Fine. So now I'm 8 weeks into it. All right. What's going on here? Second shift. Well, we just, you're really good at what you do and you get the surgery started in the morning. That's fantastic. Can you please stay? And I was like, sure, knowing I wasn't going to stay. So I actually stayed for about 4 or 5 more weeks because I really liked the people that I worked with. But Children's is very hard to work at Children's. And like I said, I'm going somewhere with this. So I go to regional. I go over there on a Monday, fill out an application, interview, boom, start a new job on Tuesday. Second shift, the job I wanted, surgery, done. Okay, that's how it used to be. Now, even for what I'm doing now, this is why it is such a freaking nightmare to get a job anymore. Because first off, you can't go to their website. Because if you go to their website, if a specific job is not open, you can't even send their ass a resume anymore. You have to send a resume to the job they have open. And I don't know how many companies I've sent emails, hey, do you have an email, on their contact form that I can just send a resume in case something opens up? And of course, I never hear anything back. So then you go over to Indeed, which is absolute shit. Indeed is horrible. Half of the crap doesn't even work on it. And if you're using Microsoft's browser, forget about it. Indeed doesn't work on that at all. Nothing works on that. So you go over to Indeed. They ask you 9 million stupid ass questions. Do you have experience in, space shuttles? Do you have experience in tying your shoes? What are your pronouns? They ask you 9 million stupid ass questions to set up your freaking profile. And that's the worst. That's the worst. And I'm to the point, skip. So then they want you to upload your resume. So you upload your resume and then you go through there and you put in your, the words you're looking for, your keywords. Then it starts giving you a list of jobs. Fantastic. Drinking my tea. So then you find a job and you're like, hey, that doesn't look too bad. And what's the pay on this? Estimated $4 an hour. Indeed. Okay, well, I know the job pays a hell of a lot more than that. The estimates are never correct on that piece of shit. Never correct. So then finally, you're like, okay, Indeed, cool. I can just hit submit and it'll upload my resume and I'm done. Oh, no. You hit submit, then it takes you over to a link that takes you over to their website. So you go to their website and now, again, you get to upload your resume and now you get to fill out your resume. Well, hang on. I just uploaded my resume. Why have I got to put all this shit into this form on this application? You literally have my resume. Why do I have to do this? So now you're like, oh my God, I just wanted to apply for the job. I'm already 3 hours into this stupid crap. When it used to be, I could just walk into a place and say, hey, are you hiring? Yes, fill out an application. Boom, you're hired. That's what it used to be. So now I'm like, oh my God. So then you start typing. Put in your name, put in your address, put in your social security number, put in your last 4,000 jobs and where you've lived the last 5 years, and then give us 3 people that'll vouch for you. I mean, this is absolutely asinine at this point. So then you sit there for another hour, and then you go continue, boom, and then you get an error. Oh, well, you forgot line 9. Well, because line 9 doesn't apply to me. Shit, okay. Not applicable. So then you finally get through the god-awful resume, and then when you get to the end, oh, guess what? Now you have to fill out a bunch. Well, now you got to read. You got to read all the crap about their business. Then you got to click, I accept. I accept. I accept. Okay, here's this form. I accept. Were you in the services? Yes, no, whatever it is, no. Do you have a disability? No. Can you do the job? Yes, or I would not have applied for the damn job if I can't do the job. And it goes on and on and on. And it doesn't end. And then my favorite part, is when it gets to the end, it asks you what your race is. And of course, white's always at the very bottom. Always at the very bottom. I just had to throw that out there because I'm like, hang on. There should be, you should have black and white at the top. But oh no, you have Asian, Mexican, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. Then you have black. then you have white. You have everybody in America above black and white, which are the people that have been in America since freaking America started. Absolutely insane. Then you get to your favorite part. What are your pronouns? Are you kidding me? I sat here for 4 hours filling this stupid shit out, and now you're going to ask me what my pronouns are? My pronouns are dude and the Hulk. Those are my pronouns. Send. Then you get an email back. Your application has been sent. Blah, 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 blah. Then right after that, you get another email. We would like you to take this assessment test. Oh my God, I've already been here for 4 hours. I'm just trying to give you my damn resume. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't want to do your, you know what? I don't even want your job anymore. I don't even want it. Because if this is what I've got to do just to get to an interview, what the hell's the job going to be like? And that's why we hate applying for new jobs. It has become a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Back in the day when I graduated college, you physically walked into a place, filled out an application. 8 out of 10 times, they would interview you right there on the spot. Or they would call you back in within 1 or 2, 3, 4 days and tell you either you're hired or you're not. Boom, you knew right then. Now this shit takes months. It takes months. And if you think I'm kidding, this is the very thing that I started when I went to work for Napa years ago. I found it on Indeed, went through all the bullshit. Then I went back and took all their stupid tests. Then after that, all right, I finally get an email. And this is, I'm talking 3-4 weeks later. I get an email for my first interview. My first. So I go and I sit and do the interview. It takes about an hour. Fantastic. Then a month later, I go for my second interview. It took me 6 months to get that job. 6 months I spent trying to get it. 6. By the time I got to my final interview, I didn't even want the damn job anymore. I took it because, it's Napa. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. But 6 months. But now that I'm older, not doing it, man. Not doing it. And now that I'm doing, I'm applying for the security jobs, armed security jobs, and I'm not going to call any of them out simply because of what I'm doing. But the one that I took the job with, they were fantastic. I submitted it, boom, bang, boom, phone call, boom, interviewed, just like that. All the rest of them, are you kidding me? I go to Indeed, I do the blah, 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 I fill out the stuff. They call you 3 or 4 days later. Hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so. We'd like to set up an interview. Sure, when can you do it? Can you do it 2 weeks from now on a Thursday? Well, chances are I'll be working by then, but yeah, I can do it. Then you go do the freaking interview. Well, now that we've got through the first interview, we got a lot of stuff we got to do between now and then. So can you go through the second interview? Because you got to meet somebody else 2 weeks from now. No, I'm out. I'm done. And this is what it has become looking for a job in America. It has become an absolute nightmare. It has become an absolute headache to look for a job anymore. You used to walk in, talk to the people face to face. If they liked you, you got a job. That doesn't work anymore. Now we got video conferencing, and my favorite is the video interview, where they ask you the dumbest, stupidest questions that have nothing to do with the job you're applying for, and then you have to answer them on video, and then when it's done, it goes to them. And they say the video interview, a lot of times we can make a decision within 30 minutes if we want to interview you or not. Really, you think that's faster than putting somebody literally on the phone with me or saying, hey, why don't you come down here and talk to us face to face? You think that's better? Because I'm going to sit on your video interview and I'm going to say whatever you want to hear to get the interview. You're not going to be able to tell if I'm telling the truth or not. You'll have no idea. Because not only, because the way it works is you get 2 tries. You click it the first time, they ask you the question. That's the part where you get to prepare. So I can tell them anything. I'll just sit here and say blah, 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 blah. You go to your second try, they ask you the same ignorant question, you just blah, 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 blah. Shit that I could never have done had you interviewed me face to face. So yeah, I'm going to go in there and just talk all kinds of crap. because you're giving me the opportunity to prepare everything. Hell, I'm not Joe Biden. All right. I don't need time to prepare. Just interview me and let me know something. Don't give me weeks, months trying to figure it out. I applied for another job. This was a while back. Also, after I left Napa, they closed our distribution center down, and it was either move or lose your job. And nobody went. I think it was like 234 people out of a job. Nobody went. Nobody took the move because they were moving us to a much more expensive area, but they weren't going to raise our pay. I was like, well, shit, I can't live over there for this amount of money. Are you kidding me? There's no way in hell. My rent's going to double. My insurance is everything over there is going to double. And you're going to pay me the same amount. So nobody went. But same thing. I did another damn interview. And this is the problem with the technology and the social media. Went through Indeed, found it, applied, went through all the bullshit, all the questions, went to the first interview, went to them, took a test, a physical test. And I'm like, oh my God, this is ignorant. Took the test, went to a second interview. All right. A couple weeks later, went to a third interview. And I am not bullshitting you here. A week later, went to a fourth interview. I'm 4 in. All right. And I'm like, this is absolutely insane. Leaving the fourth, they're like, well, hang on. Well, you got another interview. You got the interview with the head of our HR department. Okay. Why? What the hell is she going to, she's HR. Why am I interviewing with her? Fine. Do it. So I interview with the head of the HR department. Boom. 5 interviews. So when I get done with that interview, then I get told I have another interview with the president of the company. And I'm sitting there thinking, are you kidding me? 6 interviews. I'm what, 2.5 months into this? And now I'm on my 6th interview? And you want to hear the funniest shit in the world. So when we were wrapping this up, the 5th interview, she says, well, I need your, what's that shit? LinkedIn profile. I said, well, I don't have a LinkedIn profile. What do you mean you don't have a LinkedIn profile? Well, because of the business I do, I'm not selling this product around the world. I only sell it to my customers, which have to be approved by Napa before I can sell them Napa product. You can't call me from China and say, hey, I want you to sell me shit wholesale. It's not how it works. My clients, I know who my clients are. They're 100% approved by Napa. They're Napa stores. I can't sell outside of that. I don't need a LinkedIn. That's why I did not get that job. It's because I did not have a LinkedIn profile, which was the most ignorant shit I ever heard of in my life. That's why Americans hate looking for jobs. Now it has become arduous. It has become a chore. It is no longer application, interview, get a job. Now it's application, fill out resumes, fill out the application, get asked 1 million questions, take tests, do video interviews, do Skype interviews, do questionnaires. It never ends. And then 3, 4, 5 months later down the road, maybe you have the job. It is ridiculous. I miss the old days of my beginning story of this video. I could literally leave a job on a Monday and have a new job on Tuesday. It was that simple. Not anymore. You leave a job on Monday, your ass had better be prepared to be unemployed for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 15 weeks. It's going to take you that long to get through the bullshit process of getting a new job because they think all this technology is helping them. It's not helping them. It's hurting them because you have skilled people like me. And I'm like, I don't even want the job anymore. I don't want it. You have completely worn my ass out on this. I would rather go to work somewhere else that doesn't have all these stupid hoops I have to jump through constantly just to get to somebody that I can talk to face and sell them on the reason why I'm the best fit for the job. By the time I get to that point, I'm so pissed off. I just want to tell them to stick it in their ass. I don't want your job anymore. If you're going to make me jump through all these hoops just to get to this point, God knows what it's going to be like working for your company. It has gotten absolutely asinine, insane, and I'm tired of it. I mean, I just got over it. I just completely got over it. And luckily, because I have to work in this industry that I'm doing now, luckily the first person I applied to multiple, but the first one was the one that called me right back. And dude, I mean, it was like boom, boom, interview, gone. So it does still happen out there. But because of that, I already knew it. That's the place where I wanted to spend my year working. I already knew it because they were on the ball and on point. All these other companies who are I'm still getting phone calls from this. All right. This was 3 weeks ago. They're still calling me. Well, we would like you to come in and take an assessment. No. I'm done. You should have called me the first time. Because what happened is while you're screwing around with all your metrics, putting me through all these tests and all the bullshit, somebody who really wants a good employee has called, interviewed me, and hired me. And I took that job to cut out the bullshit. So at the end of the day, all that happened is because of all your craziness, all the silly bullshit you've got trying to get me from point A to point B, you lost a great employee.